shape of your table. Have your breakfast on me.
So, where do we start?
Make sparks in your toaster.
You know, we've had the plug pulled.
I just want to be seen.
Administration will start stripping assets, I guess, to pay your bills.
Float above you while you're sleeping.
I guess it can, but I guess the other thing is that they've already started.
Catching glimpses of your dreams. Oh, why don't you dream of me?
We are going to have to really dig deep. This is our lowest ebb. This is our lowest ebb, but we will come for it one way or another.
Why does this keep happening?
We are going to have to go through some tough times now.
This amazing football club can't go. It's been the community for all of us for so long.
Cannot face being disappointed yet again. The club is dying on its feet.
It's been a wretched season for Torquay. Their former owner Clark Osborne put them into administration.
Clark Osborne did not give a single damn about this football club, and I hope to never, ever see you run another football club ever again for as long as I live.
As an absolute loser, no accountability. The fans had enough. It's disgusting. Failing, underperforming, failure.
Torquay United have been deducted 10 points after going into administration.
Right, let's bring you some breaking news, and it's really good news for Torquay United fans because the club and the Bryn Consortium have completed its purchase of Torquay, which will see all tax debts, football and trade creditors paid in full, with around 600 Torquay fans owning the remaining 7% from historic share issues. Mark Bowes-Kavanagh and Michael Westcott have been named as co-chairs. The rest of the consortium members taking up positions on the board. They will join as non-executive directors. Neil Warnock is one of those in charge very much of football, and interim CEO Joe Lovell.
We probably need to rewind the clock 24 hours from the day I met Neil, which was the stages of bringing the consortium together. Mark Bowes-Kavanagh and I were very quickly turning our attention towards the one area that we weren't terribly familiar with, which is the football. And we both read online that Neil had just left Aberdeen. We jokingly said the previous evening, wouldn't it be amazing if Neil was available? And that was I think the Thursday evening. And I was up in London, my business is based up there. Anyway, the following mid-morning, I'd finished my meetings and thought, right, I'm going to get back down to Devon and take an earlier train. I was texting with Mark all morning about potentially how we could think about football and how we might be able to get hold of Neil. I'm sat in my seat as I am now, with my laptop open, probably doing a few emails. And then I look up and literally across the aisle, I saw what I thought initially looked like Neil with what I now know is Sharon, his wife, reading the papers. I'd just got on the train at Paddington. So I quickly got my phone out, Googled the latest photo of Neil just to make sure I wasn't going bonkers, and realised, oh my God, that's Neil.
Ah.
Then I heard his dulcet Yorkshire tones.
Beautiful sky, isn't it? And I'm just looking at camera, aren't I, when I'm talking? Yeah. Before I leave this club, I've got to go and stand with the pop. Just for one game, and not get pestered. I want to just see how it is, because when I look across at the pop side, I just think they're amazing, really, and it's got to be great for the boys. The first time around, actually, everybody thought I was an idiot to come to Torquay United because I was at Notts County and we were in the top flight and just got relegated. And then I'd fallen out of love with football the way I was treated at Notts County because I took them 2 divisions and up top.
2 Wembley appearances, 2 promotions. Notts on a small budget or in the big time.
The chairman, Pavish, gave me the sack at Christmas, which wasn't deserved, really.
Here you are, you're pictured in the local evening paper, drinking champagne after you've been sacked. Now, is that relief or is it bravado?
Well, everybody wanted me to look gloomy and do this and that. There's a lot worse things in the world than getting sacked from football.
I turned Chelsea down and Sunderland.
You could have been celebrating with champagne at Chelsea because you were offered a job there 18 months ago, big money. Do you regret turning that down now?
The M25 was never for me.
I was a bit cheap and I thought, do I want to carry on in football? And I come down to Torquay and I've got people like Darren Moore and Paul Trollope. Kevin Blackwell was there. He was in goals. Scotty, they were everybody. I got them together. They give everything, every tackle, header. And it was just like going back in time, and I loved every minute of it. And to stay up at Carlisle like we did just next to the last game of the season, you'd think we'd won the World Cup.
The first thing I did was run to the back of the train in the vestibule there outside the Loos and like messaging with Mark, and you never believe who's on the train. Right, you know, life has told me that you've got a minute to make the first impression.
A chap come up to us. I didn't know at the time it was Michael Westcott, and of course you think, well, what does he want? And he just said, look, I've got a group of lads that are with me, and we're thinking of trying to buy Torquay United to keep them going. They're not in a good situation, but we don't know a lot about football. Would you consider helping us out on the football side? And without my mouth, it was like a ventriloquist. Sharon just said, yes, he will, he would, he'd love that. We always loved it at Torquay.
He smiled. One of the first things he said to me is like, we loved our time at Torquay. We ended up talking all the way from London to Exeter, which is about 2 hours.
It's so difficult when you retire. You know, I've had a few retirements, but to pack it all in all together and not have any involvement, it's strange. And so that was how it came about, really, just a chance.
And that was the kind of the story of our serendipitous meeting on the train.
Bryn Consortium had agreed a deal. The club's future looked to be safe. Hello and welcome to the latest Goals Eye View. I'm joined by Tom.
Good evening, lads. Nice to see you again.
I'm joined by Tom.
Good evening. How are you, Mr. Celebrity? Are you all right?
Fine. Joined by Chris.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you still spoke to us, Sam.
Yeah,
sorry, evening.
No.
All.
I'm Sam Swan, I'm 25 and I'm the producer and presenter of Torquay Talk. I was always going to be a Torquay United fan. It's just been like my whole community, my whole almost like purpose and personality, to be fair. Since a young age, I've just followed the football club and it just means so much to me. I do the sort of podcast more for like therapy, actually. I think that's what we started it for. So we could let it all out more than anything. But I also do commentary for BBC now as well. I just love football. I just love the game. I just love almost been slightly involved with the football club and the community and meeting people and just sort of having it as like an open platform for everyone, really. I love just being from, I'm not actually from Torquay. I'll say that again. I was from Leicester. I stand actually in top side. I do love the view here, but I just like the atmosphere and the feel. Yeah.
And if you're sat next to someone you don't like, you can just move.
Away from football, also a musician as well. I was in a Torquay-based band, the Kaisens. Got another band starting up, Paul Wotton, again Torquay-based. And I also do gaming. I'm known for that as well. Torquay United-based Football Manager series.
We don't talk about what happened at Ashton Gate. But that goal at Ashton Gate, that will have to be one of my favourite memories, I'm afraid. But what happened afterwards was horrendous.
It's just amazing how it sort of affects you, really. It just the wins that mean so much. But even just to go to a game with your mates, your family, it's just, there's nothing like it.
It just takes over me. I remember playing Notts County a few years ago and won 5-1. I think Lemon Ivans made it 3-1. And I just sprinted down here. Like, that's the first time I ran for a long time. And it just takes on. It just takes over you, doesn't it? Football. It's weird.
It's so important to have a football club. And this football club's just unique, isn't it? It's just something different about Torquay that sort of makes it stand out. Sort of, a seaside town, sort of an underdog story for so many years. Everyone knows Torquay United and has some form of respect for Torquay United. It's just one of those special football clubs that I'm so proud to support and sometimes represent as well. Yeah, just all the emotions coming through. That's what I'm all about.
Obviously, Neil met Michael Westcott by chance on a train trip. The first thing he said was that Paul Wotton's your man.
Well, Paul, this is Torbay and Torquay, and it's a beautiful place. I've got some great memories here.
Is the weather always like this here?
The weather, it has been better. I must admit, I have been here when the sun's been out, and it's a glorious place.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Hey, and there's a job up the road and all, if you fancy it.
Is there?
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I'll put your word in then.
Should we do it?
Yep, I think so.
Come on then.
He gets eyeballs on the club. Paul Wotton's manager announcement, I think we calculated had over 5 million views because it's Neil sat in a deck chair. Neil and Paul have obviously got a close relationship.
Well, I know Paul, he played for me at Plymouth, and it's great for me to help him at times with one or two chores that he has to do.
I think Paul Wotton on the pitch and Paul Wotton off the pitch, two totally different people.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Come on, Spot. Oh, no. Give me a ball. Come on, Spot.
He does wear his heart on his sleeve. It gets him in trouble a bit, like it did with me.
Everyone sees him in front of Bristow's here. Ranting and raving, screaming at his players, getting them going.
But you'd rather have somebody like that than somebody stood there not saying anything.
And he's passionate off the pitch as well, but he's far, far more measured.
He's only a young chap in relation to me, and so I think it's good when you get that passion. And I don't think you don't win anything without passion.
You got to die for 3 points. It's right. Between 3 and 4:45 on a Saturday. It's your life. That's it. I've got kids, and my missus and people I love and people I care about. But from 3 till 4:45, there's only one thing on my mind, and that's winning a game of football. And
Bailey! Can't take that long on the goal kick. You're going to speak to me or not?
there's only one objective in football, it's win. I am tremendously passionate. I'll back my boys. Once I've signed you, once you're my player, I'll look after you through whatever happens. I kind of equate it to being a dad. It's like I can shout at my kids and I can tell my kids off, but if anyone else does it, it's not going to sit right with me. So a huge misconception about me is I'm always this, you know, ruthless, strong. I'm not. When it comes to football, I'm a big softie. Really, I'll do anything for anyone, and I do have empathy. I mean, recruitment when I first took over, it was brutal, really, because I had one player. Some managers love that, you know, trying to get a deal and wheel a deal in and speaking to agents. I hate it. Time I'm missing being on the training ground and improving my players.
You got me rocking and reeling all because of your smile.
Looking forward to it.
The support base is phenomenal, and I think it's highlighted because of the level we're playing at.
This is the vital week, so I know it'll be Wednesday or Thursday, I think. So,
breaking the limit again.
They've surprised me how passionate they actually are. You know, it's not a huge football ground, and you know we get 3,500. It feels like you've got 30,000 in there when they're singing and chanting you on. When the pop side gets going, honestly, no, they've been magnificent, really. You know, travelling all across the country in the National League South to watch their football team. So passionate about their football club, as they should be.
At the very start of the season, everyone's happy to have a club. Being a big club, everyone's expectations shift to getting out of this league, at least into the National League. Had a good start, and then I'd say we slowed down a little bit. A couple of away defeats.
I mean, look, the dream's to get the club back in the Football League.
Maybe people realised that it was going to be a bit tougher in the league this year, so
I would give anything to be that manager that does it. I want to manage as high as I possibly can. I'm tremendously ambitious, and I always will be. And I think the day I lose that, I think I'll lose something as a manager, and I don't think I'll be the same person, the same manager, the same character. I would give anything to do that with Torquay.
You're back on this fan base because they're the ones that keep this club going, and they're the ones that mean most to anything here. It's where strangers become acquaintances, acquaintances become friends, and in some cases friends becomes family. But you never forget that when you've got 3,000 plus coming to our dead rubber at the end of the National League South season, you have got an asset that no other club at this level has got.
I mean, with a football club, there's so many characters, not just the players, it's from the kit man Russell to the groundsman Julian, just everyone, the volunteers that help on match days, the people working the club shop, everywhere in hospitality. With the change from when they got the keys to where they are now, it's just incredible.
there were skeletons in the closet. From a commercial perspective,
let's get started. Work together, identify problems, come up with some solutions, alright, and then also we want to be innovative as well, okay?
the club's got to wash its face. The club hasn't run sustainably since Mike Bateson had control of the club.
But we've still got a long way to go, alright? As we said, we need to make sure this football club runs and acts as a professional footbul club, not as a semi-professional football club.
You know, we've got to get certification from the Safety Advisory Group, which is run by the local council, to put games on every week, to host crowds, to open up each of the stands.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
That's fine. But what we need in the organisation is people to be doing their jobs and making sure that they're taking ownership of it. So
Honeymoon's over. That's it. What we've done so far is okay. You know, we've been okay up to now. I said that's it. I'm not suffering any more, bad performances. I'm not suffering any more of the same mistakes. And I actually distinctly remember saying, our season starts now.
It all has to tie. What we can't have is people at a board meeting talking about their corner, talking about numbers, and then when Joe or I present the overview, they're being totally different numbers on it. Do you know what I mean?
Our job really is, it's emotionally tremendously crazily draining. And you know, now I'm off social media and I don't have to listen to a very, very small minority. I'm talking a 1% minority, by the way, of negativity. And you know, it can be really hurtful. It can be brutal, but I can't sit here and moan about it because I'm the one looking at it. But I've learned to quash all that and not look at it. But
how do you deal with the pressure?
It's sometimes well, sometimes not well. You know what I mean? It's I'm not, you know, sometimes I'm not a nice person to be around. And the weekends I'm not proud of some of the way I act around my family. Taking the job home with me, I'm not proud of that at all. I'm learning to get better at it. It's not their fault, do you know what I mean? It's not fair. When you've won, they're the best day of the week. It's amazing. Everything's cool. When you've lost, I mean, I'm 47 years old, been in football, professional football since I left school in 93. I still don't think I'm dealing with it any better now. You know, my support network around me has been fantastic. They've really taken to me. It feels like, I've only been in the job, 6 months, but it feels like I've been here for years. It really does. So no, I can't sit here and say I've had struggles. The only struggles I've had is struggles that I've put on myself, pressure on myself, and a feeling of letting people down when we don't get the result that we should or that we all wanted. The club has, in a very short space of time, I've become so invested in it, you know. I want to do well for the owners who have put a lot of faith in me.
Made any songs about Torquay United?
No, well, working on one actually, if it's not a drum, but it's called it's like an acoustic song.
For the fans who have been great with me.
You know the Sunderland one, you've got that on the river, it was like an acoustic one. I've actually got it's not an acoustic project, there's one acoustic song I thought the other day. Right, okay. It's not going to be about Torquay United, but right, okay, what is going to be? Right, let's get deep here for a minute.
As a player, you go and have, or in my, you know, I'd go and have a couple of beers and I'd always think there's another game, I can sort that out.
I nicked it from TikTok actually, but it's like the world needs you, and it's actually about, I got serious for a minute, it's about how we all need to be part of community, and even when we feel a bit shit.
But as a manager, you just feel so responsible, you know, you feel like it's solely your fault. That's the way I feel when we lose a game.
Even when we feel a bit shit, that we need to be part of something, does that make sense? So actually, when we come here, the world does need us.
How do I cope?
Because we all need our mates.
Good mate of mine always says, keep your head down and keep swinging, you know, just keep moving forward.
That's the vibe I'm going for.
Football kicks you in the teeth sometimes, and it's going to be a long trip home. Bishop's Cleeve genuinely made me feel sick in my stomach. Yeah, that was a dark day. It was a dark